Hello and welcome students, myself Kumar Saurabh. Today I am present in front of you with yet another daily practice sheet, which is of course going to help you in your critical reasoning section of your CLAT and other law entrance examination as well. So we are going to first of all discuss the passage in brief, and based on that we are going to solve the set of questions which are attached to it. So without wasting any more time, let's start. Okay, so as far as this passage is concerned, this passage basically talks about emotional abuse first of all, and then this passage basically differentiates between what can we call as an emotional abuse and what are the things which are not categorized under emotional abuse. Okay, so first let's talk about what emotional abuse is not. It is not emotionally abusive to break up with a partner. Again, you guys understand it way better than I do. It is not emotionally abusive to argue with your partner. Again, it is not emotionally abusive when someone reacts to what you have done by feeling hurt. People react out of their perceptions, so their reaction do not define your behavior. So these are the things which we cannot say that these things qualify as emotional abuse. These are not emotional abuse. It is not emotionally abusive to yell at your partner, although this one can get blurry. Yelling at someone, of course, by definition does not qualify itself as emotional abuse, but एक blurry line जरूर है, वो एक gray area जरूर है. So let's stop and talk about for it a moment. Everyone yells sometimes, सही बात है, सब लोग कभी ना कभी चिल्लाते हैं. Everyone, frankly, I would be more concerned about someone who could never let himself yell than I am about someone who sometimes raises his voice to higher and louder octaves in order to express his emotions. Now this point is easy to understand कि ऐसे लोग कम होते हैं, एंड ऑफ कोर्स थोड़ा वियर्ड भी होता है ऐसे लोगों के साथ इंटरेक्ट करना जो कि कभी भी अपनी आवाज़ ऊंची नहीं करते. ओके, तो ये काइंड ऑफ नॉर्मल है. कोई ना कोई कभी ना कभी किसी ना किसी सिचुएशन में आके चिल्लाएगा ज़रूर, येल ज़रूर करेगा. सो दिस इज सीमिंगली नॉर्मल. बट ये इंपॉर्टेंट है, बट स्क्रीमिंग एट समवन हिस्टेरिकली in an emotional verbal assault is considered to be emotional abuse. अब आप अगर किसी पे yell कर करके उसको उसके बारे में बुरा फील करा रहे हो, then that can qualify as emotional abuse. Yelling as the first and only response might also ultimately be called emotionally abusive as well. और अगर response के नाम पे आप सिर्फ और सिर्फ yell ही करते हो, then that can also be categorized as emotional abuse. But when a husband and wife or parent and child occasionally yell at each other, this is a normal expression of emotion. But अगर कभी कभी ये सारी चीजें होती है तो it is not emotional abuse. Emotional abuse is an attempt to control. यहाँ पे important चीज दोबारा से शुरू हुई है. In just the same way that physical abuse is an attempt to control another person, इमोशनल अब्यूज भी कंट्रोल करने का एक मेजर है, जस्ट लाइक फिजिकल अब्यूज. द ओनली डिफरेंस इज दैट इमोशनल अब्यूजर्स डज नॉट यूज फिजिकल हिटिंग, किकिंग, पिंचिंग, ग्रैबिंग, पुशिंग और एनी अदर फिजिकल फॉर्म ऑफ हार्म. रादर द परपेट्रेटर ऑफ इमोशनल अब्यूज यूजेस इमोशन एज हिज और हर वेपन ऑफ चॉइस. डिफरेंशिएट कर दिया गया फिजिकल अब्यूज और इमोशनल अब्यूज के बीच में, और डिफरेंशिएशन से हमें यह पता चला कि फिजिकल अब्यूज में यू डू वट एवर यू कैन टू हर्ट दैट पर्टिकुलर पर्सन फिजिकली. बट इन इमोशनल अब्यूज क्या होता है कि यू यूज योर वर्ड्स, यू यूज योर वर्बल कैपेबिलिटीज टू हर्ट समवन, टू कंट्रोल समवन. So this is the basic differentiation between emotional abuse and physical abuse. Now based on this passage, the questions are, the first one is, why does the author say that we hear the term emotional abuse tossed about quite a bit these days? ऐसा क्यों कहता है author? Here the right answer is going to be C, which says to differentiate what is emotional abuse and what is not. Next question. Which of the following is not an example of emotional abuse? Not an example of emotional abuse. Here the right answer is going to be D, जिसका पूरा evidence आपके passage में दिया हुआ था, which says getting out of a relationship when you feel threatened. So this is not an emotional abuse. Third, question number 3. Which of the following epitomizes the emotional abuse problem as mentioned in the paragraph, in the passage? Here the right answer is going to be epitomizes the emotional abuse problem. A, which says my partner constantly criticizes everything I do and says I am too stupid to do anything correctly. देखो, अगर ऐसा कुछ कहने वाला कोई आपके लाइफ में है, I personally suggest that you get out of that scenario, that situation, because that situation, that scenario is not going to benefit you in any way. अगर कोई पार्टनर किसी को कॉन्स्टेंटली सिर्फ और सिर्फ क्रिटिसाइज करता है और सिर्फ ये कहता है कि तुमसे कुछ नहीं हो सकता, you are way too stupid to do anything, then it's time that you say goodbye to that person. Now let's move on to the next question. Question number 4. Which of the following, based on the author's arguments, would be the best approach to dealing with emotional abuse? Here the answer is very straightforward option, which is B, which says we must stand up for ourselves to whatever degree necessary to make the exploitation stop. Best approach to dealing with emotional abuse, ये सवाल आपसे पूछा गया था, तो ऑफ कोर्स आप ये समझ सकते हो ऑप्शन बी बिल्कुल इस बात को एड्रेस कर रहा है, ये कह के कि आपको जो भी करने की जरूरत है आप करो, ताकि जो एक्सप्लॉइटेशन आपके साथ हो रहा है वो तुरंत बंद हो. सो ऑप्शन बी इज एब्सोल्युटली द करेक्ट आंसर. नाउ लास्ट क्वेश्चन 5. Which of the following is the valid assumption on which the passage is based? A valid assumption on which the passage is based. Here the right answer is going to be option C, that indeed emotional abuse is something which is painful in nature and a serious pattern of abuse. So that marks the end of this practice sheet. I hope you guys understood the concept of emotional abuse, what is emotional abuse, what is not, what is the difference between physical and emotional abuse, and in case you see somebody encountering this problem, suffering from this problem, I hope that you guys will take a stand and help those in need. So thank you so much for joining in. I'll see you next time. Take very good care of yourself till then. Thank you so much.